Hey guys, and welcome back to Building Habits. In case you're new here, this is a series where I introduce a set of rules you should try and follow in every game you play. The goal is to teach you strong fundamental principles that we will improve upon as we go. This series is my personal take on how to improve in chess, starting from 400 ELO all the way up to 2000 ELO and beyond. I'm going to choose a series of rules that I have to follow. What you might notice is that you will miss chances to play winning moves. That's okay. The goal here is to focus on the fundamentals, and I'm trying to get you guys to build good habits and play high percentage moves that will help you increase your rating. All right, let's get the first game in. First game for today. We're at 900 right now. That's our ELO currently. Yeah, 5-0, exactly. 5-0. Okay, e4, c5. Don't see this opening too much, but as our rating gets up there, we will see this more and more. Okay, so we start with the knights. Usually looking to get that bishop out. And again, hopefully, it's not too much of a broken record, but the reason I keep repeating it is we get our pieces developed the exact same way every single time. Don't know what this rook b8 move is all about. Okay, and again, just getting all my pieces to the middle here. Gotta get my bishop developed. Okay, and one thing is, like, there's not going to be any pin to deal with. I know that for sure because the bishop's sitting over there. So we've got all our pieces out. We've got a pawn in the center. We're castled. Got a rook to the middle. There's only a few things left to do. Develop this bishop and go from there. So let's bring the bishop in the center. Both bishops are working. Probably going to go queen d2, rook over. And everything is, everything's getting developed nicely, it looks like. Openings. Yeah, that's the one thing about this series is if you have openings, of course you can use them. And that's not going to be a bad thing. But what I'm doing is I'm presenting a way where I don't think a lot of people know theory or openings when you're first starting out in chess. That's not that obvious. So I'm presenting a way to play without any of that. Okay, e5 hitting the bishop. Whenever we get attacked, we usually go back. We still hit the center this way. Okay, and what are my next couple moves going to be? Well, first of all, there's a trade, so I'm going to take that. My knight needs to go somewhere. I'm always going to check if the knight can go to the middle first. If either of these two middle squares are available, I will always put it in the middle. So let's see. Let's see. Okay, and whenever I'm trading, I usually continue to take with pieces. Just having to think here. The word tactic means something pre-planned? No, definitely not. Definitely not. Because in a random position, your opponent could just make a blunder that allows a tactic. Obviously, you didn't plan for that tactic to be there, but they blundered and suddenly there is a tactic, right? Okay, he castled. I'm going to take for sure. Remember, any trades, we want to take those. Now we're going to make sure we make this important move. H3. H3. Okay, he's doing the same thing. Hey, we like to see it. Time for some random pawn moves. Time for some random pawn moves. Yeah, H3 is important. Okay, our queen's getting attacked. We have to move the queen. I'm just going to choose this square because it seems to be still pretty central in nature. Okay, he's moving the rook. Random pawn moves, here they are. And he's making a threat. He's attacking our pawn. Can I defend it? I actually can't. And what does that mean? If I cannot move my rook here or here to defend it. And I do know what en passant is. I'm not going to make a mistake and play the move c4. After c4, if black takes like that, I'm completely losing. Terrible. Can't allow that. But anyways, we do know what en passant is, and hopefully you guys remember. If you move your pawn 2 squares from the start, and your opponent's pawn is going to end up right beside you, they can take you like that. So important to know what en passant is. Anyways, he's pushing forward here. Let's keep going with the random pawn moves because hey, we don't have any way to stop him from taking that. He takes it, our queen has to move. I'm going to choose a square that still exerts some pressure on the center. This is why I'm saying the habits, they don't always help us play the best moves, right? Here we just lost the pawn. You know, that's obviously not ideal, but the habits rules are not going to give you the best move every single time. It'd be pretty impressive if I had some system that always make you play the best move. I think then I would probably not stream it, and instead I would sell you that package. Okay, he's threatening this pawn. We could defend this, make sure we don't lose it. But yeah, man, that would be awesome. If I had a pre-packaged thing that I just said, okay, you know, these are going to be the best moves every single time. Okay, we're just going to defend our pawns. Then I would definitely sell you guys that for, you know, $100 a pop. Okay, rook over. He's playing a good game. What can I do here that's aggressive, that, you know, makes some threats? Well, I've already got my random pawn moves done. Let's make some moves towards the center. This looks like an aggressive queen move. You'll take 10. If only, if only. So this move actually doesn't do that much, but it's just a queen move. Still revolves around the center here. He's doing some good stuff, though. He's bringing the rook down. Look at, he's targeting these weaknesses. He's playing a really good game right now. Yep, exactly. Look how passive these rooks are. That's why you can tell white's position is not very good here, right? Okay, let's, try to use our queen, attack some pawns. H4. Yeah, H4 is a reasonable move, but I would say so far our habit has really been to play H3 and leave it there. Maybe later in the endgame we could play H4 or something, but for now I think I'm going to leave it there. Takes, obviously, trades. We take all trades. We take all trades. He takes back. Back rank checkmate. Well, he's actually not getting checkmated because he has an escape square, right? So it's very, very good by him to do that. We can give him a check, and you'll see here I can try to take a pawn, but that's not gonna it's not gonna get me checkmate. Opponent's playing a very good game right now. Take a pawn. The only reason I decided to do this check was because I couldn't do those ones that were covered by the queen and the bishop. Okay, he's getting the rook out of the way. Again, with 30 seconds taking down, I think giving some checks is a reasonable thing to do. Can't use this check. I only have one check left. Well, with time ticking down, I don't mind giving checks, I don't mind giving checks. King there. Again, I just can't use this. I've got nothing else to do, so I'm just going to give him a check. And again, this is the only check. I can't even take this pawn. Oh, +1. +1. And I have a feeling that my dude's profile picture is exactly his face right now. I have a feeling. Yeah, I think he just took that photo. This is a live shot of his face at the moment. You'd be happy with that draw? Definitely. Definitely. Full credit to my opponent, guys. You see the game he just put together? Not only did he, target some of my weaknesses, he had an escape square for his king. If he sees me with low time, he should probably just try to run his king away to not draw. But I think he played a very solid game here. Okay, puts the pawn up. We're going to match. We're going to match that. And we've been playing this way for the most part. The knights come out first. And then the bishop. Yeah, and we've been developing this way for a while, actually. Here, bishop out, castle. That's the plan. That's the plan. Okay. So, you guys are getting the idea of what I'm trying to do here, I hope, which is play the exact same way, try to follow the exact same rules when I'm playing the opening, middle game, and end game. He goes h3. Okay, we're going to castle. g4, super aggressive. It's okay. Anytime that our bishop gets attacked, we do this when we're white, black, doesn't matter. We always just take a step back. Still looking at the center, but we're just going to take a step back. That's all. Okay, g5, our knight's attacked. Well, you guys should know what we're going to do here. Whenever our knight gets attacked, you heard me say it last game, what do we do? Where do we want to put the knight? We always want to put the knight in the center. The center is always these 4 squares right here. Obviously, this knight can only move to 2 of them. And can't go there because our pawn is there, so we only have one option. We're going to put it on e4. Rock Bra, thanks for the 11 months. Okay, he takes. What do we always do? Just like I said last game, we always take with a piece. We always take with a piece in the middle of the board. No, remember guys, pawns are not pieces. I think that's the rule that I have to explain the most, is that pawns are not pieces. So when I have a rule that says take every free piece, I'm not referring to pawns. Pawns don't count. Sometimes I'll take a free pawn, but taking a pawn like this when I'm still not finished development is not a habit I'm looking to make. In general, I'm looking to stay away from being a little bit greedy and taking pawns. The only pawns that I'll take pretty early on in the game are pawns that are right here in the center. So he develops like that. And now we're going to do something, which is not take this knight. Now, why am I not going to take this knight when it is exactly a capture and it's sitting right there for me? That's been one of the changes with the new rules. That's been one of the changes, is we said, look, I'm going to take every trade I can, but if it's bishop for knight and I have no reason to do it, like I would just do this because I'm making a trade, but there's no other reason why I would take that, and we don't do it. Okay, so let's just continue development. It's going to be rooks and queen, right? Those are the last pieces to bring to the middle. So this is a difference from maybe the first level of habits to this level. Okay, he goes g6. G6. What is this move? Well, now taking with the bishop might be a very good idea. Let's take with the pawn because pawns capture towards the middle. We'll try that. That's something we've been doing. Okay, goes h4. Again, I'm going to focus on what I'm doing, which is play in the center. Play in the center, finish development. Okay, he's castling. And again, there might be moves that could be stronger than the ones I'm playing. I'm not trying to say that I'm playing the best moves in every position. You'll notice that I'm playing very similar type of moves in every position. Okay, he plays knight there. Anybody have an idea what we're going to do here? Anybody have an idea what we're going to do here? It's free. It's in the rules. I have to take it. It's free. Free bishop. That's for me. Take that free piece. That's right. We do take those. And would you look at that, guys? I have to take this as well, don't I? I have to take this as well. That's more material for me. Okay, now I don't have an h6 move to make, but I have an escape square. So we've got this sorted out over here. We've got everything in the middle. Time for a random pawn move. Can my random pawn move be a pawn in the middle? Well, actually, yes, it can. It can. e5. So that's one of the things that we've been trying to change from the first level of random pawn moves to the second level, is if a random pawn move can be a center pawn, we do want to look to move our pawns in the center. That's one big change. So we're going to play e5 instead of maybe a5, which we might have played in level 1. Okay, he goes knight here. That's a capture, so we're going to take it. We're going to take it. Exactly, development. We didn't take that knight earlier, and as a result, we got his bishop and his rook. Super worth. So he goes here. First thing we do after our opponent moves is we double check what he might be threatening. Now, threatening this is something we're actually covering with our queen, so I'm not that afraid of it. And in the meantime, we have another capture we can make. So we're going to keep going. Drew Wainson. Cheers, man. First time catching this. Well, this is a regular thing here now. Okay, takes there. Again, another pawn move in the middle. Middle of the board here. e5 threatened the knight. It did, but that's not why I played it. I played it because we're done our development. It's time for us to move some pawns, and if we can move central pawns, I'll always choose those, as opposed to pawns over here. Okay, he doesn't want it. He goes e4. Speaking of random pawns, let's let's go. Here we are, random pawns. h5. Here we go. What's going to happen after h5? We're not even going to think we're going to capture. We're not even going to think we're going to capture. Following the habits. He's going to take back, and he's going to have some big-time threats for me to think about. He's not threatening this, because I'm still covering it. But he is threatening this. He's going to check me. I'm going to go here. Don't know if I'm getting mated, but I'm pretty scared. I'm pretty scared. Here, here. Right? I mean, that's frightening stuff. I don't think it's checkmate, but it's pretty scary. Don't really know how to stop that. Going to make a random pawn move while I think about this. Queen h7, king over, check, king up. I mean, believe me, I'm not proud of this. This is why I said the habits are not always going to lead you to the best positions. Like, we were completely winning here, but hey, habit says to trade, so we're going to trade. And that brought his queen there, and it pretty much got us nearly mated. Obviously, if you guys were playing, you might see this and say, oh, okay, I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to help him out. Okay, the queen's being attacked. He goes back. He's threatening a discovered check. I know what that is because that's a basic tactic. I need to get out of a discovered check. So I'm going to try to block the diagonal here. So let's see. F6. It's his turn. His turn. He goes back. Now, my king's in the middle of the board, which is why I'm going to try to do this. So that's one thing we said. If the king is in the middle, get it out of the middle. It's never safe in the middle. So the only reason I'm doing this is not to take that pawn. It's to go here and here and here and try to run to safety. That's the only thing. That's the only thing. Strong dedication to the habits. Absolutely. Because I'm trying to show you guys a pretty accurate representation of how to play. Okay, he goes there. Well, we're going to start by taking with a knight. Knight takes here. Our queen's got to move. Let's choose a central square. Let's choose a central square. We're under 10 seconds, so if I need to pre-move, I can. Oh, my king's got to move. I only got one square. Only got one square. King's got to move again. Got my king all the way back to this. Somehow I'm over here now. Two seconds and a dream. Ooh, and a strong move by my opponent. And a strong move by my opponent. So this is what can happen. And it's very realistic to have a completely dominant position. But you allow something as simple as h5, and you take it thinking it's just an exchange. And all of a sudden, once he gets this, I mean, I think black is still winning, but when you're starting out, I mean, this is an easy way. This is an easy way to just lose the game straight away. So obviously, if we're looking at this game afterwards, we might say, oh, I might play knight e5, hit the queen. And if he ever plays h5, there's no way I take that. But this is what, you follow the tactics, you get this great position, but you also might mess it up from time to time. Now, over a large sample of games, which is the point of the series, I think your rating will go up. the amount of times that the habits will mess up your position and make you lose will not be nearly as many times as the habits will give you a good position and make you win. But it's also informative because you can see where you would want to make your own changes. You're watching this, you're like, oh man, this is ridiculous. I can't believe you just played G takes H5. There's no way I would ever do that. Okay, well, then you got to make sure you're following all the habits up till then, because I was taking everything. And then as soon as there's this, you have to realize there's a difference. As your rating gets higher, you'll be able to identify all the differences, all the exceptions to the rules. When you're starting out, I think it's easier to just think of everything as, a general correct rule to follow. So right now, what is our rule? It's going to be to capture things. Let's analyze the game. We lost. We took an L there. 36.2 accuracy. Yeah, we had a few misses there. My guy didn't play that much more accurate though. Look at you see this? Pretty controlled game by me. And then all of a sudden in like one move, it went to plus 5.46. So we got to investigate that big white dildo there. Okay, look at the opening though. Very solid. Yeah, the reason that they're saying missed wins is because there's pawns hanging. In this particular situation, knight b4 is also like a crushing move because it gets down there and takes that. But these are the things I'm not concerned about because bishop g6 is a good move. So if you're missing a better move, but you're still playing a good move, you're still playing good chess. You're still playing good chess. It's when you start to make a bad move, that's when you have to examine it. Okay. And again, these are all bad moves based on pawns being hanging, but I think black's position is solid. And we see basically just shapes up really nicely. And here, of course, there's no way I should be taking, but we see what happens here. B5, and our opponent can really really injure us here, big time. Right, rook h1, and you can see he's looking to checkmate us there. He's looking to checkmate us. e5 was not the move, no. But allowing this queen here already is not the idea. However, it's something that's going to happen. Taking is part of the habits. Taking is part of the habits. But that was really the only bad move. I know the engine has said that many moves here are bad, like queen d7 blunder, rook e8 blunder, bishop there missed win, castling blunder. I don't think any of those are bad signs. Right? I think black has played a pretty solid game so far, and if any of you guys, at 900 ELO or something, put a game together like this, and your coach looked over it, they'd probably say, hey, you missed this free pawn there. But that's okay because you're not going to see every single thing, and most of your moves were very good, fundamentally solid. I mean, playing in the center, getting all your pieces out, winning material, and then how did we lose? We just opened up our king too much at the end. That's the big thing to fix, making sure, at the end we don't open our king up. And that'll get fixed as we start to improve and go further in the habits series. Okay, e4. We start every game with e4. We're playing a 1000, guys. I don't think we've played anyone over 1000 yet. Is this our first 4-digit rating? Does anyone remember? I feel like it is. I could be forgetting someone though. Bishop there. So anytime we see the bishops get developed, we always attack them with a3 or h3. This is just a habit. Anytime we see that bishop get out there, immediately challenge it with a3 or h3. Okay? He takes this. Now, important decision, because what we've been doing is in the Ruy Lopez, when we're playing black, we always take this way now. Normally, first level of habits, we always capture towards the middle. B takes c3, of course. But what I've been doing is I've been taking this way at level 2, and it's one of the only times I'll capture away from the center. One of the only times. I will always capture towards the middle. But this is just one of those things we've tried to remember. We're going to capture this way in general. He's going to go here. And the reason we're doing this, let's say our opponent played knight there, right? And we played d3 to guard that pawn. Suddenly we're blocking in our bishop. So the reason I'm doing this is so my bishop's not blocked in. I can still get castled. Pieces are still okay. Okay, he goes d6. Say rook to e1. We want to get this bishop developed. Probably bishop there. And again, when the bishop goes here, it's the same as the bishop going there. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Kick her out. That's right, h3. Smarter world. Anyone have some suggestions on how to get your 3-minute rating closer to your 5-minute rating? Well, I think if you start losing some 5-minute games, that'd be a good start. He's keeping the pin. This guy's elite. It's my turn. I'm not going to play g4. Not going to be tempted. I think bishop g5 is a way to get my piece out, and we've been talking about this pin for a while. So there we go, utilizing a pin. If he plays h6, we're not going to take that knight. We're not going to play the move that we always say our opponents do. If we get h6, we're going to go bishop h4. Bishop h4. Now, important, if I play queen d2 here, he's going to be able to double my pawns. So when I'm moving my queen up here, I'm actually going to make a choice to pick e2 instead of d2. So I'm still watching over that. Okay, he plays queen e6. I think we finish our development here. Is this a speed run? Definitely not. No. Not trying to, go super fast here or anything like that. We've actually had a lot of losses, and we started at 400. We're 900 right now, so we've been making some gains, but not at any ridiculous pace. Okay, he goes a5. We got an early random pawn move from my dude. It's time for our random pawn moves. Yeah, optimum. Haven't really decided yet, but probably up to maybe 1800 or 2000. Okay, this move actually just loses a pawn. So if we think about this, I've got one supporter, and he's got two people. One defender, he's got two attackers. I'm going to go here. Ooh. He goes b5. Now, b5, a thing that I could take with many of my pieces. But I think with most things, when I decide whether I'm going to take them, I almost always start by taking with pieces. And if I have to take with pawns, then I take with pawns. So I'm going to take with the bishop. If you guys played pawn takes, capturing towards the center, very, very, very fine with that. Very fine with that. Okay, he goes here. He is attacking our bishop. We can save our bishop very easily, especially by going to a square which controls the center and makes a threat, attacks his queen. Why not? He goes queen there. All right, anyone know what move we're going to do? Who knows? What move are we going to play? There's a divided chat right now. There's not always a divided chat. I see a lot of knight takes e5. That move looks insane. The fact that any of you guys would take your knight and move it when it's being pinned, very bad sign. We do not want to see that. Nope. It might be a tactic in some world, but that's not the energy. That's not the energy. Bishop takes knight. We want to double his pawns. The main reason we pinned that knight since day one was to double his pawns. Definitely bishop takes knight. Definitely bishop takes knight. It's the main reason that we've done this entire thing. I'm going to play queen here, a little bit closer to the center. You might say, hey, you just gave up a bishop for a knight. Yes, but this is truly the #1 reason to give up a bishop for a knight. I say, hey, don't give up bishop for knight for no reason. There's a reason. Double pawns. King over. Again, what's going on here? We're bringing pieces in. I actually did this to get out of the pin, so I'll take my free knight on a7 in the real world, but unfortunately I was a little bit, let's bring our bishop to the middle, a little bit distracted, so I didn't actually take the knight, which is the reason I played queen e3. Queen e3 gets out of the pin and also attacked the knight, but you guys distracted me with your knight takes e5. He's attacking us. I guess I'll go back. Generally don't want to allow bishop for a knight trade. And you can see what's happening is, okay, he is giving up a central pawn. So I'm going to have to take that. You can see what's happening, though, is I've got a pretty solid position here. Got my h3 in, got my pieces in the middle. Hey, that's a fork. Do you think it's fine to pre-move this? Uh-oh, this is a risky pre-move. I'm under 10 seconds, and that is a fork. But who knows what's going to happen. Rook takes e7 pre-move. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I got to get over and try to checkmate him. That's a dangerous pre-move. Holy smokes. Oh, that's a trade. Oh, let's get our queen over. Let's get our rook involved. Bishop to the middle. This is going to be a tough one. Ooh, and that's a trade. And that's a trade. See, I tried to play g4. It's a bad habit. It got rejected by the system. See, I have my account is actually programmed to only accept habits moves. Tried to play g4. It said no. Oligu. Did he play a very good game? I was actually a lot more impressed by the first game that my opponent played today, if you guys remember that. We ended up drawing him by repetition earlier. I think he actually played the best game so far today. My opponent's game here was not terribly impressive. I think he had a bunch of things that that could be easily avoided. So I thought we had a nice opening here. He's playing solid up till now. I think both players have a very good position, which is why the evaluation is right around the middle, right? It's right around 0, basically. Right around 0. As you can see, all these moves are very good. Like, this was his first blunder, because it's simply a free pawn. Right? He should maybe go b6 if he wanted to move a pawn there. But he was focused on b5. Unfortunately, he just loses a pawn. Okay, so we took. We brought our bishop back to controlling the central squares. We got rid of the knight, doubled his pawns. We played here. Definitely wanted to go queen takes a7, so he should have moved this. But in any case, we were pretty low on time, and two of these blunders are because the knight is hanging. 1, 2. And then this one, why is this a blunder? Simply because there's better moves available. Bishop b5 pins the knight. Would be a decent move, but the reason it's so strong is that the queen can't move anywhere without losing the knight. So at this point, though, with 30 seconds, it was pretty tough to make a comeback. It was pretty tough to make a comeback because even though we won some material here, we won this pawn, we won this knight, there's just not enough time, right? There's no way I could finagle a win here with just 7 seconds. So if we go back here, I think this is where everything was pretty much even. b5 was the first blunder in general, but you guys did a good job. I always have these games where I'm speaking a little bit more to the chat, asking you guys to come up with the answers, and I think everyone did a pretty good job. The main thing where people were a little bit divided was right here. Everyone said, you know, either bishop takes f6 or knight takes e5. Now, knight takes e5, just not something we want to go for. First of all, okay, the engine might call it a mistake. It's not losing. It's not a big blunder. But the reason why I always advise against this is because there's just no, this is like, first of all, a very advanced tactic. Second of all, it's hanging your own queen while attacking this queen, the knight's hanging is like everything is crazy about this move. Keep it really simple with the tactics. There's no need for anything like knight takes e5. No need for anything like that. What was the report? Well, would you look at that, guys? So we basically had 79.7 accuracy. And that was missing a free piece for like 2 or 3 moves. So think about that. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. 80% accuracy. Not too bad. Not too bad. So let's get the next game. The idea, of course, is that you know, when you see his accuracies like this, you can feel good about the game, even if it didn't go your way. I obviously got flagged here ruthlessly by my opponent, who was quite quick. But even if this is your game, you know, take a loss on time, you can feel good when you see you know, the accuracy up there. E4. You guys know what we're gonna do? It's just E5. We're gonna match that. Bishop C4. Now he's up to something. We've seen this move before. We've seen this move before. What do we do against bishop there? If we play knight here, what's going to happen? He's going to play knight there. And when we bring our other knight out, he's going to go there. That's the fried liver. That's the fried liver. We got to be very careful what move we play here. We do not want to bring this knight out because this is going to happen. We've seen it before. Exactly. If you've seen the Habit series, then you'll know we have seen this before. So I'm going to start with this knight. Knight to c6. Because if he goes there, I want to be able to play bishop c5. I want to be able to play bishop c5. But still, the first couple moves of my game, you know, I'm going to start with e4, e5, and then I'm going to bring these 3 pieces out in some order. In some order. That is called the fried liver, exactly. Knight g5 with the bishop there. Okay, so now you play this move. I know that he's wasting time. That's not really a main move, so I'm just going to go knight here. Okay, I'm hitting this pawn. He goes there. Am I going to take this pawn, though? Probably not. Probably not. My advice, usually get developed. I've only got 2 pieces out. If I take here, who knows what's going to happen to me? There might be queen e2. There's no point in getting into this unnecessary trouble in the opening. So our focus is usually to try to get castled. And, you know, once we're castled, we can start to look for free pawns after that. But I generally do not like to take free pawns with my king in the middle. I think that's a good rule. I think that's a good rule. B4, again, every time we get attacked like this, it's happened on the other side of the board. With G4, just take a step back. I think this happened last game as well. Can't remember, but maybe not last game, but the one before. Just take a step back. You're still attacking the center. You don't need to panic when you get attacked. So what do I want to do next? I want to get castled. Okay, get castled here. He's expanding in the center. You guys know that trades I'm going to take. But now I am castled. And I see this pawn on e4. I am going to take it. That's a free central pawn with my king safely castled away. I'm going to take those 10 times out of 10. I'm going to take those 10 times out of 10. As long as you're castled, I think it's safe to grab a central pawn for sure. We'll see what he wants to do here. Again, you know, if something like this happens, I'm just going to take it because that's an exchange. Okay, he's hitting my knight. Where should my knight go? Knight d4, knight e5. Those are the 2 central squares. Can I go to d4? Not really. Can I go to e5? He can take. I can take back. That's the extent of my calculation. I'm going to choose one of these squares. One of them's not safe. One of them is. So I'm going to choose e5. If he takes me, I'm going to take back. Oh, look, I can pre-move that. That's a recapture. That's a recapture. A safe pre-move. Because if he does a different move, like knight e1, then it's not going to count. And he happened to take my piece right when I touched the e1 square, so canceled my pre-move. Queen f3, attacking my knight. Every time we get attacked in the center, we usually bring our knights where? Back. Why back there and not back anywhere else? Well, some squares aren't safe, but this square always covers the most central squares. e5 and e4. e5 and e4. So we're bringing our knight back, but we're still exercising pressure, you know, against the e4 and d5 squares. So it's not like we lost. It's not like we lost a lot from doing that. Okay, he plays bishop there. He's attacking our pawn. And we're going to grab this rook. We're going to move it over. Why? That's a developing habit anyway. We want to bring a rook to the center. And we're going to defend our pawn at the same time. This is perfect. This is perfect. Okay, our bishop needs to get developed next. Where can our bishop go? Well, bishop g4 hits the queen with tempo. Looks like a reasonable move. We'll see where he's going to put the queen, but this is nice. I'm basically finishing my development here. Got my rook in the middle. He's going to slide the queen all the way over. He is actually threatening my pawn here, so I have to get my queen developed. Then I have to bring my rook over. Where am I going to put my queen? Well, queen d7, queen e7, both very reasonable, but I have an extra square available to me. d6 is even closer to the center. I'm going to choose that over d7 probably any day of the week. What does it also do? Happens to cover my pawn. Perfect. It's doing everything at once. But yeah, if I can go here versus d7, the only reason I choose d7 and e7, you guys might be wondering, is because d6 is not available, right? It's because this move has never been available. He goes knight here. Not threatening anything immediately. I'm just going to start by bringing my rook over. Finishing development. Okay, he's making a threat against my queen. I only have, a few options here. I only have a few options. Queen here, and queen there. Now that I have to leave my square, d6, my beautiful square I was saying so many good things about, I guess I'm going to choose d7 because that's the square I would have chosen anyway if I couldn't go to d6. Now that I can't go to d6, I'll put my queen on d7. So we actually did lose a pawn here. He takes on e5. He's got it covered, so there's no way I can take that. He's also threatening to take my knight and double my pawns. He's threatening to take my knight and double my pawns. So I have to be careful here. This is something that, we've been careful not to allow so far. Not to allow. So my knight's threatened. I either have to protect it or I have to move it. And if I'm moving it, I'm looking at central squares. This is definitely a square. Or if I had to defend it, I would say queen f5 would be the move, right? Queen f5, it does hit the bishop and hit the pawn, so it is kind of a fork, but I would say it's a slightly more advanced fork. I'm going to choose this one. It's a free pawn in the middle of the board. If you count up the pieces, I've got 1, 2 supporting it. And let's say I had 3 attacking d5, and he only has 2 defending. So I'm going to choose to do this. Queen f5 is technically a fork, but seems to be like a bit of an advanced fork. He could also defend it with bishop g3, so it's not like a crushing move. But queen f5 would be a good response as well. If you guys would play queen f5 instead of knight there, that would also be good. Somehow we basically can't allow double pawns. That's the main thing. Okay, our bishop's getting attacked. We're not really pinning anything here, right? So I have 2 main moves, I would say. Either to go back to the middle of the board or to go back here. Now, going back here when there's nothing to pin doesn't make as much sense. I'm going to go bishop e6. But if you guys went bishop h5, that would be very reasonable as well. Queen g3, he's threatening checkmate. He's threatening checkmate. I have to defend this. Well, I have 1 main move to defend it here. f6 is definitely an idea, but I think g6 is the more common way to cover this square. Bishop takes d5. We got to take back. Just take back in the center. Now, after this, you might say like, hey, why didn't you take this piece over there? Why did you choose to take the bishop? Well, let's bring the bishop back first of all. Usually I'm going to choose to react to my opponent. Okay, he's attacking my queen in the middle. Maybe pre-move this recapture. And he's going to offer me trades. You guys know I'm going to take them. Trades, 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 all trades. Trades are good. I happen to be up a pawn here, so it's even better. He's going to go there. This is a trade I'm going to take. It's with a check. We're going to move our queen. And it's a bishop for a knight. We don't really want to take that. Flag again. It's looking likely. It's looking likely. Queen c7. And again, why am I flagging these positions? Well, my opponents are actually playing really well. Right? It's not like I'm getting crushing position and flagging. I think my opponents are being very resilient. If you look at how the game went, we grabbed a free pawn. But, you know, my opponent stayed in this game the whole time. Okay, we had this. He came up with this move to win this pawn. I think he did a great job. Okay, h3. Good habit. I think he actually played this because he wanted to bring his rook over or his queen over. But look at these ideas from Buddy, right? He's swinging his queen from here to here. He's coming up with some aggressive, like checkmate ideas. Some really big checkmate ideas. So I thought he played very well. We're leaking ELO here. We're leaking a bit. Oh, for sure. We're never going to be gaining every single day. Except if you watched every past habit stream where we've gained every single day. But the day's young. The day's young. I don't know if you guys remember the very first game I played. The entire series. We're at 400 ELO. Brand spanking new. What did I do? I lost the first game. We dropped to 300. We dropped to 300. So we've had our fair share of setbacks. So we'll get into the analysis here. Okay. Now, opening has been good. We might get reminded about taking this pawn, but again, I have no issue with that. I think this is all solid. And if we look at what's happening here, knight f6, of course, knight d6 might be the better move, but generally, I think the knight should always go back to that square. You'll be making the better decision most of the time. Okay, we got our bishop out, we got our queen out. Okay, queen f5 was a bit of a better move, but knight d5 we decided to play. And again, I don't think that, you know, too many of these moves are like massive blunders. Bishop e6, for example. Why is it a blunder? Queen f5 should have been played, but is queen f5, you know, an extremely special tactic? Doesn't appear that way, right? Queen f5 hits the bishop, hits that square, but it's not like winning on the spot. Right? Bishop e6 is just a very, let's say, maybe a more passive move, right? Our opponent is looking to play one of these moves, get in here and checkmate us. And bishop e6 kind of lets that happen. Knight e4 and queen h4, queen f4. So something like this would absolutely hurt us here, guys. Knight e4. Okay? So that's why it's saying, hey, be careful, bishop e6. But I don't think bishop e6 is that crazy. You know, you're opening up the queen and the rook. You miss knight e4. And in the end, you know, we're a little bit better here. We have two bishops, but our opponent played a very good game. Even took our pawn at the end. So it was a solid performance. Boys. And look at that. I mean, if it means anything to you guys, our accuracy still higher than our opponents. Still pretty decent. And the idea is that if you're playing higher accuracy than your opponent, you're likely going to win, you know, the majority of your games, which is why your rating is going to go up. The habs are helping. Well, good. Let's see if we can add a little bit more speed and really drive home the next couple wins. Because what's been killing us recently, it's actually mainly been speed. But in my opinion, our opponents are putting a much better performance together than some of the ones we had last time. Okay, e4. You guys know we're going to go with e5. And knight there, we're always going to go with this knight. d4. Okay. We are looking to take this, right? Now, we've discussed this before. Openings where we're going to lose our pawn in the center. We have to do an extra little think here. Takes. Of course, we're going to take all captures. And then we're going to go d6. So we've actually talked about this. We have talked about d6. There's no way for our bishop to develop to those squares that it's so comfortable on before. Okay, so we are just going to go d6 instead. Okay, bishop c4. We're going to go knight f6. We're looking to sort of get our pieces developed like that. e5. Glad we're seeing this. E5. Well, that's a capture. Gotta take it. Bishop takes F7. Here we go. Bishop takes F7, guys. What are we supposed to do here? Anybody? Anybody? Hey, Matt. Matt's here to build some habits. Matt's here to build some habits. 505 people. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for the raid, Matt. We're getting styled on by our opponents here. Now, those wondering about what the habits would tell us to do, I think it's advanced. I think it's advanced. If we take here, queen takes queen, bishop check, right? And we're going to win the queen back. But we just got 100 gifted subs from Potent Ponables. So I think we just unlocked just a little bit of ability power right there. Just a tiny bit. I just felt like with those 100 gifted subs, the brain waves were flowing. Immediately I saw this tactic. It's just a simple discovered attack. Discovered check, rather. Yeah. No, really, yeah. It was the 100 gifted subs. I think it just pushed me over the edge. I think it pushed me over the edge. Just gave me the confidence to play this. Yeah, 100 subs, 100 ELO. Potent Ponables! 100 gifted subs! Let's keep developing habits towards the center. We're not going to get carried away here. 100 gifted subs from Potent Ponables. Always here with the support. Wow. Time after time. Okay, we got rooks in the center. I got to get this guy involved, either to rook d8 or rook e8. Okay, let's bring the rooks to the middle. We're at 11.5k subs. Thank you so much, Potent Ponables. He's been here for every single habit stream. And if you've been here for every single habit stream, then you probably have a sub, because Potent Ponables has gifted subs every single habit stream. He's been so supportive of the idea. Okay, so, I mean, you should know that name. He's probably gifted you a sub if you've been here for every single one. Okay, he goes bishop a5. He's threatening this. I'm not sure. I'm going to keep doing my h6 habit. I know you might think, hey, you're not castle, dude. You don't need this. It doesn't matter. But just a good habit to get into. h6. h6. You've been here every day, Waldern? Yeah, if you've been here every day as a pleb, you're probably a sub now. Thanks to Potent Ponables. Okay, knight to b5. Well, the good thing is, in my position, I've done everything. So it's kind of time for those random pawn moves. It's time for all those random pawn moves. Okay, in this position, I think that b6 looks like the maybe the best move. But to be quite honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if people played a6, because the guy just put his knight there. And when the knight goes to b5, we're supposed to kick it out with a6. That's what we're supposed to do. Okay, bishop takes c7. Now, maybe a bit advanced, but I think this is very much within level 2 powers. After bishop c7, we're going to have the exact same thing as if someone sacrifices on f2 with a bishop and a knight. Remember that 2 pieces is always better than a rook. We're going to take knight, and we're going to get a bishop. This is one of the, I think one of the only things that we have learned from level 1 to level 2 is when people give away 2 pieces for a rook and a pawn, you always want to be the guy taking the 2 pieces. Every single time. Every single time. So here we got a bishop and a knight, and he got a pawn and a rook. The pieces are way better. Way better. So many things just happened though, guys. We're here trying to focus on the game. Okay, he's attacking our pawn. Let's activate that king, right? Let's activate that king. King to the middle. Oh, that's a trade. Okay, you guys know we're going to do trades. And now that it's the end game, we got to do active king and try to attack his pawns with our pieces. So let's start attack his pawns with our pieces. Let's try that. Active king. I can't really get further into the middle. How do I attack pawns with pieces? Well, these are the guys to attack. A knight there would do the trick. A knight there would do the trick. Okay, he's attacking our bishop. Let's save it. Let's save it. Okay, he's going rook there. Well, basically at this point, I want to bring my king to the middle and bring my knight there. Okay, he's taking pawns. Let's take pawns as well. He's attacking our knight. Bring our knight back. Starting to push the pawn. Watch out for this guy. We got to use our pieces to try to attack his pawn. That's the main advice that I have for you guys in the endgame. King to the middle. King to the middle. Pawn for me to take. Pawn for me to take. We had 100 gifted subs. Oh, he's attacking another one of my pawns. Hey, stop that. Stop that, dude. Let's bring our knight back in. Trades. We always go for trades. Oh, he's attacking my pawn now. Now we can pre-move. Oh, that's a trade for me. That's a trade. So, we can start to do some pre-moves. King to the middle. Hey. Oh, that's for me. Maybe pre-move that. Pre-move that. Just trying to make pre-moves that are safe, right? Safe pre-moves. Oh, that's for me. Oh, pre-move time. Pre-move, pre-move, pre-move. Check. Not unlocked yet. I agree. That would be a little impressive. That would be a little impressive. But I don't think the pre-moves were crazy. I think this is good practice. Position like this is one of the best ones to practice pre-moving. Best ones. Why? Because everything's defending everything else. So if I make a move like this, like this, like this, everything's still defended there. Look at all my pre-moves. They're all safe. I know I can pre-move this because there's no way the rook can get all the way teleporting over there. And he happened to hang material here so I could take it. And so at this point, at the very least, I've got a draw, right? You know, at least I get a draw here. But pre-moving under 10 seconds, there's always hope. And we're still following the habits, you know? He's attacking pawns, I'm going to take them, right? If he's offering trades, I'm going to take them. Right? What did I do here? As soon as we got to the end game, I moved my pieces to attack his pawns, and I brought my king to the middle. That's all I did. And I didn't even make the best moves. In fact, I definitely did not. I definitely did not, right? Because I hung all my pawns over here. So this was not that good for me, but I think we followed the habits to a T. Here, he should be taking this. Instead, he played F5. So there was still some hope. What was up with this game? Well, we learned about this thing. And why should we take a look at that? Number one, we didn't win the game. We're going to analysis. But number two, openings where we have to lose our center pawn are ones that really, really hurt us in general. 81.7. That's not so bad, boys. Not so bad. The habits getting us a decent score there. Okay, so d6, bishop here. Now, after knight there, we want to see, you know, what's going on here after e5, because this looked pretty insane. He like won our queen in the opening. We got to investigate this. We got to investigate this. e5 blunder. Why is it a blunder? To me, it seems like a very strong move. Takes, king takes best. Oh, it was those 100 gifted subs, boys. Look at that. The 100 gifted subs and black is better. I'm telling you, there was something in the air. There was something in the air. I had a feeling. Those 100 subs, man, they were helpful. But why is it actually a blunder? Take a look. Engine says Queen E7. Okay, I'm over here going, what the heck is Queen E7? It's a pin. Queen E7's a pin. So what's he going to do if he castles? Obviously, I just win a pawn. Okay, that makes sense. If he supports the pawn, you know, what's the idea? What's the idea? Because F4 to me looks pretty tough, and this is exactly where I would say this is getting a little bit too crazy. This is getting too crazy. After F4, what am I supposed to take? Play knight here, bishop here. Look at the engine. What does it say? G5. Oh yeah. Do you think this is how you're supposed to study chess and learn how to improve? G5 is best. Oh yeah, negative. No, this is terrible. that's just looking at the engine and just regurgitating the moves. You're learning nothing. You're learning nothing. What I would say is after E5, I would look at the move that I played and be like, okay, he played this. I took. He took. I gave a check. And this was fine. And this is fine. Why do I need to change it? Everything that I played was actually fine. I mean, I maybe missed some better moves according to the engine, but I got a completely normal position. I'm not down any material. It's like 6 pawns apiece. Bishops, knights, everything. Nothing wrong with this. Nothing wrong with this. So don't overreact. Don't overreact. Right? Here, there's no need to just always take the best engine line and try to play it next time. Trust me, Queen E7, F4, you're going down a rabbit hole there. You're going down a rabbit hole. Okay? So I'm going to say, look, if we see that move again, I have no problem taking it. No problem. Okay? Because the position we got, totally fine. Totally fine. So let's stick with it going forward. Let's stick with it. This actually worked out. He's moving his rooks around, and the end game is just, there's not much to say here because I think the end game was not played that well by me, right? I'm taking a bunch of pawns, and when his pawn starts pushing, I end up taking it, and at this point, it's just a matter of time because he has 3 minutes, and I have 12 seconds. He should not be trading so many pawns. That's a mistake by him. Right? And then this is just nonsense time scrambling. Okay? But, you know, we did gain some rating there, guys. We got 100 gifted subs. We got a big raid. We got the energy now. This is the comeback. I can feel it. Let's get another 5-minute game. Because now I can feel the energy flowing. Let's win this game together, guys. E4. Let's win this game together. C6. Have we seen that move before? Not really. Not really. We're going to start like this. D5, that's a capture. We're going to take it. We're going to put a pawn in the center. We need to have a pawn in the center at all times. Could be this one, could be that one. And we're going to follow up with the other knight out. And you'll notice something. I cannot put my bishop here. I always put my bishop there. But now there's a pawn on D5. So I can't put my bishop there to control the center. I'm going to put my bishop here. Also does control the center there on E4. So if C4 is not available, I'll use D3. Castling. Castling. Okay, let's bring the rook to the middle. This is a move that we know we're going to want to do. And how about this bishop? We got to get developed. Can't go there. Well, how about that pin that we've been utilizing? Right, bishop G5. Annoying. Time to finish development. Queen needs to move. Queen D2. Looking to bring the rook over to D1. H6. Right? We're not going to take this knight. There's no way I take this. I have to go back. Maintain the pin. If he decides to move his queen out of the pin, why am I going to take it? It's going to be doubling his pawns. Going to be doubling the pawns. E5. The nice thing about moves like E5, guys, if you're following the habits, you don't even need to calculate. Right? You just look at it and you say, okay, take. I'm just going to take, because we know we want to take every trade. That's another trade, so I'm going to take it right away. He takes with the bishop. Is he threatening something? If he takes there, I can always take it back. And I think I can just finish my development. Got every piece developed now. Probably want to play h3 next, right? That last move. Okay, knight's being attacked. Where am I going to put this knight? I can't go to d5, right? But I do want to put the knight in the center, so e4 is a given. I have to go to e4. I'm always going to try to use a central square versus not using a central square. So if one's available, I'm always going to take it. How does black avoid the doubling of the pawns after moving the queen? He doesn't. He doesn't. That's the thing. If black moved his queen, I would take that knight. Okay, he goes bishop there. There's trades on the board. I have to take them. Take this. That's check. And he took this way, but he's hanging a piece here. That's a free piece. I have to take it. There we go. He shouldn't have taken this way. He should definitely have taken with his bishop. He should definitely have taken with his bishop. Okay, he goes queen c7. Let's not forget the fundamentals, guys. He's attacking our pawn, but apart from that, what would be my next move anyway? It would be pawn here. Just h3. I know it looks like there's so many more better moves that should be played, that you want to be played, but focus on the simple things. Play h3. Just do it every game. Okay, he gives us a check. King under attack. You guys might, maybe you suggest different ways to go, but the bottom line is when there's queens on the board, you don't want to be going towards the middle. You want to be going to the corner, let's say, to safety. To safety. You don't want to be moving towards the middle. So we're going to go to h1 here. Would I take trades even if I was down material? Yes. Yes, I would. Okay, takes with check. We're going to take back, of course. Hey, Theo. He's attacking our queen. Well, in this case, we have a pawn in the center that can be captured, and it saves our queen. So that looks like an easy move. Easy move to make. Okay, rook attacking our queen. Again, queen has to move. In this case, there's a lot of things that start to work. This bishop is defended. But this pawn, that looks free. Think about where the queen can go. Queen in the middle, solid. Free pawn here, also solid. Right, and we're actually fortunate that our opponent played g takes f6 earlier. We ended up winning a piece, but the whole game has been very fundamentally sound. Okay, it's a good move by him. He's defending things. He's defending things. At this point, I would probably say it's time for, you know, the random pawn moves to finish things off. But, you know, it's very tempting to look around the king for ways to crush your opponent when you see stuff like this. But for consistency, let's make some random pawn moves. This will get on YouTube eventually. Yep, looking to put it on this week. Why take every trade when you're down? Because the point of the series is to try to find general rules that you guys can follow. Follow general rules rather than specific rules. If I say, take every trade when you're ahead, but not the ones when you're down. But sometimes if you're ahead, you don't want to take this trade because it's a bad trade. It's just too confusing. When people are starting out in chess, they want rules they can follow. Those aren't rules. It's too many exceptions. So we start out with something simple, like take every trade. And as we improve, we'll eventually start to remind you about how to improve that rule. Okay, attacking the rook. I am just going to go rook here, attack the bishop, still stay focused on the center. Okay, he decides to go back. I think I'm going to continue with the pawns over here. Okay, Again, continuing with the pawns. A recapture. Free move recapture. Fancy. Okay, I think I'm running out of pawn moves, guys. I think I'm running out of pawn moves. Okay, let's bring our bishop to the center. Queen's being attacked. Lots of places to put this, but free pawn over here, kind of hard to resist. Queen f5 would also be a good move, which is kind of, you know, part of the last bishop move, but queen takes pawn is not something that's easy to turn down. Hard to turn down that pawn. Okay, f6. It's a solid move. Kind of hard not to give a check. Everyone's tempted by checks. Everyone's tempted by checks. Do we see the mate? I don't think there is a mate here, Potent. He actually did something sneaky. He uncovered his queen to stop the mate. Okay, queen trades. You guys know we do queen trades. Endgame. When it's an endgame, we bring the king to the middle and we look to attack our opponent's pawns. So let's do all of that. King to the middle and attack opponent's pawns. Okay, bishop's being hit. We can go back, especially because we know trades are good. We're going to take a trade of pieces. King to the middle. And how do we attack our opponent's pawn? Well, we got to use our rook. So king to the middle. We've done that. Now, can we attack pawns? I think the endgames in some ways are some of the most instructive moments that with like 2 or 3 pretty simple rules in endgames, I think you can start playing like way better than your opponents. Way better. Okay, what am I doing? I have passed pawns. I'm just pushing them. King to the middle. Oh, that's a pawn for me. King to the middle, pass pawns, attack your opponent's pawns. This is what you do in an endgame. Oh, that's a free rook for me. And I think it's enough right there. Okay, let's push a pass pawn. I think it's enough right there to win the game. Okay, now we just have to give some checks. Give some checks. Thank God for the ladder, mate. Yep. Thank God for the ladder, mate. So we're not going to go into analysis there, but why did that work out so well? All habits here. All habits. Got pieces out, rooks to the middle, bishop pinning, keeping that pin, taking all trades, knight to the middle, more trades. He hung a piece, we took it, made that escape square. I think it was very smooth. I think it was a very smooth performance early on. All right, so we're going to take that momentum. We're going to ride the wave of Corey's 20 gifted subs, of Berenzen's 66-month resub, of Ponables in his energy. And let's get back over 900. Let's remind Michael that we got habits here for a reason, and we will not be held back. Nope. E4, E5, let's go. 20 gifted subs from Corey. Michael is not going to hold us back. Okay, knight here. Am I going to get tempted taking this pawn? No. Let's stick with our habits, guys. Knight's out. Bishop's out. We've seen this before. Stick with it. We're not going to get crazy. Try to take these pawns in the middle. He's going there. Let's support that center and get castled. Okay. All the pieces out to those normal squares. We're going to do this pin. If we get kicked back, we'll move the bishop back, right? That's fine. Okay, let's get these 3 moves up. Queen here, rook here, and then we got h3. Then we got h3. Okay, that's the idea. You guys have seen this before. The you know, the setup like this, pawn in the middle, rooks. Okay, that's a knight. We're gonna trade it. You guys know. And now, after pawn takes, we got to move our knight. Where can we go? Here or here. Central squares only. Central squares only. I can't go to one of them, so I've only got one option, and here it is. Knight d5. Right? Gotta go knight d5. And we're familiar with knight d5. You know, it does attack f6. So the thing is, he's got something different. He's got a bishop there, which is defending it completely. Is that a trade? Yes, it is. We're going to go for it. Oh, that's another trade. We're going to go for it. Nope, that's another trade. We're going to go for it. Chess is so easy. Okay, let's get the rook to the middle. Okay, rooks to the middle, boys. Rooks to the middle. He's pushing pawns. Let's get our h3 in. Let's get our h3. Oh, it's time for our random pawn moves. He's pushing pawns over here. Oh, damn, he's doing the random pawn moves too. Whose man's is this? Damn, okay, I don't have any more pawn moves I can do. Easy, just trade. Yeah, just trade. Just trade. Queen here, rook there. Both of these moves look pretty decent for controlling the center. I think rook here and doubling and maybe playing e5. And then queen here playing e5. Those all make sense. Because we want to try to push a pawn in the center. Rook here helps us do that. And so does queen there. So I think either one of them would be just fine. I'll do this. This is nice and simple. This is nice and simple. Pawn there. We're going to take it. I can just feel that just took a piece out of my heart playing pawn takes there. Okay. Unfortunately, I cannot defend this pawn, but I'm gonna have to give it up and go with our plan, which we set up here. We're gonna double the rooks and play e5. All right, we're gonna try to open things up in the middle. That's why we put the rooks there. I mean, who knows if it was good or not, but that's why we did it. Okay, and he's gonna keep it closed. This guy keeping it closed on me, eh? All right, well, I've got my rooks doing stuff. Let's get my queen into the action a little bit. B3? Well, okay, it's capture, so we're going to take it. We're also going to take that. Whoa. Our opponent is just absolutely sending her, eh? C4. Well, okay, first of all, capture towards the center. And again, after this, capturing because we play reactive. Although taking here would be a good move. Takes. Generally, what we do is we always react. So right here, black just took back. I can see that it's threatening my pawn. I am going to take this pawn. He's attacking my rook here. I got to move my rook. And I think either this move or this move make a lot of sense. I'm going to choose to play rook d2. We're playing reactive. Rook d2 threatens this pawn. And you'll notice something when he checks me. I'm not losing the game because I have a space for my king. It's nice and safe there. This is important. This is important. Okay, that's why we play that h3 move. You might laugh at it earlier. You know, that's not doing anything, but h3 is important. Okay, rook to d8. Now, if I take this pawn, he takes, I take. I'm up one pawn there. If I take this pawn and he takes my queen, I can also take that back. So this looks to me like I got two attackers. You only got one defender. This is looking like a rook takes central pawn. That should be the first move you look at. The first move you look at. Okay, we're going to take that. Yeah, the opponent is also playing very well. Okay, he's attacking our pawn. I only see one move to defend it. Nice and easy. Remember, what do we do in the endgame? King to the middle. And try to attack our opponent's pawns with our pieces. That's the idea. Okay, we got our king in. We can't really move our king any closer at the moment. I could like move my rook. That's an idea to try to bring my king closer. Let's say here. That's an idea. All right, we'll see what he does. But depending on his move, I might want to bring my king closer to the middle. Pushing my pawns is always an option. If I bring my king there, you see what's going to happen. He's going to take my pawn. So in the interest of not losing my pawn, I probably want to avoid doing that. We got our king up, bring our rook in. He's pushing pawns. We can push some pawns. There's not much I can do here because I want to bring my king this way, but he's covering. As soon as he moves this rook away, I will play this move. I will. This is a pawn I have to capture. Okay, let's establish our king in the middle. There we go. We're happy. Yay. Oh. Bring our king here. Oh, he's trading with me, boys. He's trading with me. Oh, capture towards the middle. Would you look at that? Check. That's a pass pawn. Well, I'm expecting him to take this pawn. Most of the time when you push a pass pawn, they never stop it. I don't know why. Pushing a pass pawn is completely OP. Let's bring our king to cover. Oh, a pre-move. There we go. That's a pre-move. Under 10 seconds. That's a pre-move. Okay. Let's bring the queen to the middle. Bring the king up. Oh. Okay. Let's bring the king up one more. Okay. We're going to get a pre-move. That's the pre-move there. Pre-move. Pre-move. Okay. I need to push this pawn. Pre-move, 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 pre-move. Pre-move, 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 pre-move. That's a ladder checkmate. That's a ladder checkmate. And you know what he should have done? You know what he should have done? This is almost like a black to move and draw puzzle. Black to move and draw. That would have been a little disappointing. That would have been a little disappointing. Because there's no way when you're pre-moving that you could, at this level that you would see exactly how it would be a draw. I've been lucky. Every time I've staircase checkmated someone, this has been a possibility, but my opponents haven't done it. It so happened that our opening had a lot of trades. It's not always like this. In fact, almost none of the games today have had every piece just trade like this, right? He actually could have taken my pawn for many moves, so he kind of missed that. And then, ooh, he was crushing me here. B3, though, is just a free pawn. He's playing a little bit too quick. And here, I thought he defended very well. But number one thing, guys, when you're down a pawn and a king in pawn endgame, is what I was explaining to Dan today, you should assume that you're just lost. That you just lost. Okay? So here, there's no way you should play this move, right? Of course, if you're following the habits, you will play this. And at this ELO, how many times have I been in a situation where trading at the end puts me in a losing king and pawn endgame? Almost none, which is why I have that rule, trade all the time. Because the amount of times it's going to be this position where it affects you negatively and you're going to play this move, it's like almost none. We've never had that, actually, in the whole series so far. Never had it. So what should he do? Keep the rook on the board. Because he traded, it was really easy for me. And see how quickly I got a queen just because we traded? Okay, so we got to watch out. We got to watch out here. Okay, pushing a pass pawn when we have it, getting the king to the middle. This is all standard stuff, all part of the habits. All right, let's go e4. Let's continue the habits. Let's continue the habits. c5. Well, we know the knight goes out. Two knights. e6. Gonna get our bishop out. Okay. I think we, usually just strengthen the center. This is what we did pretty much all the time in level 2 before we get castled. D5, that's going to be a capture for sure. Our bishop's got to move. Our bishop's got to move. Anytime we get attacked, whether it's B5, D5, we just drop the bishop back. When will we learn another opening? I don't think we've learned any openings. We're just basically playing E4, E5, D4, and D5. I guess E4 is white, and then D5 or E5 is black, depending on what white does. So that's all we do. That's all we do. Jason Cassidy, 25 gifted subs. Jason, thank you, man. Holy smokes. Thank you, Mr. Cassidy. Cheers, dude. Yeah, our bishop might get trapped here, but I think it's pretty reasonable that happens. I'm gonna go rook e1. It follows the exact same ideas that we've had so far. Looking to get my bishop developed. Playing a3 or a4 is definitely needed here to save my bishop, but not the most obvious. Not the most obvious. Okay, he goes a5. Now, I think if any of us saw this many pawns facing our bishop and knight, I feel like we might have a reaction here. Anyone? Anyone? I feel like I'd be a little bit concerned, you know? Just a small amount. Just a small amount. D5 is hanging? Yes. D5 hanging? Yes. B5 hanging? Also yes. Right? So, I got so many pawns hanging here. Well, 2 pawns hanging, but also so many pawns coming at me here. We've got to do something. What's the most likely move? Well, this pawn, taking this pawn, I would say is probably the more advanced version using this bin. So I would say maybe something like this is a little more logical. Break a rule and resign. No resigning. So I will take the pawn on b5. You'll notice that didn't actually solve my problem of trapping my bishop, right? He could have still played a4. Could have still played a4. So he's going to go bishop here, and I'm going to continue development. In many cases so far, I've been losing my bishop. I'm going to continue development. But you won't have a perfect opening every time. Like, this is a strong opening that he did, e6 and d5. It is pretty strong against my bishop coming to c4. So it's not a surprise that he sort of had a better position there. Plays a4, attacking my bishop. I brought my bishop here with the idea of making a threat, though. One of these 2 knight moves is going to check black's king. And they're going to have to move it. And then, for example, if I chose knight c7, which is a fork, thank you very much, I could take the rook. We know about basic tactics. That's a fork. And we're going to win a rook in the corner. Yay. A simple tactic. Okay. Now he plays queen takes a8. Unfortunately, my bishop on b3 is still lost. So there's not much I can do about that. You know, I just simply don't have anywhere to move it. Right? If I go bishop c4, he can take me. If I take the pawn, he can take me right back. And if he takes me, I'm going to capture towards the center of the board, always. So I'm just going here, bring the rook, play h3, complete all the habits. Complete all the habits. Okay. Bring this here, bring the pawn up. Now we might have missed a lot of things here, but at the end of the day, we got our solid position. We got our h3. Now we need some random pawn moves. Bishop takes a4, gain material advantage. Wouldn't really be the case. If I took here, he would get my piece. I would get a pawn. What ended up happening was he took my piece, I got a pawn. So it's the exact same thing, right? It's the exact same thing. You guys are all telling me, hey, why didn't you get a pawn for your bishop? Well, did you guys forget? When the pawn was here and took my bishop, I did get a pawn for it. Okay, he goes rook there. When I said if our pawn move, random pawn move can be in the middle of the board, then I think it should be. than I think it should be. So we're going to take, takes back. I'm not sure which one is more likely to take with. I'll take with this pawn. Capture towards the middle. King e8. Hey, my opponent's playing very well. It's actually going and hiding the king. Let's continue with our pawn moves over here. Let's go up with our pawn moves over here. Yeah, a lot of random pawn moves on the b file incoming. True. Oh, would you look at that, guys? That is free material for us. It is. Okay, let's make a move in the center. Our pawn move is stopped for the moment. It's a blunder. Yeah, material. We'll take material. Okay, so we're offering trades in the center, which is why I put my knight there. He's doing the right thing, though. Credit to this guy. He's hiding his king. I think he's doing a really good job. You know, I got to use my rooks. Double on an open file. I got to try to push my pawn. That is a pass pawn, so if I can push it, that'll be really nice. Another good move by my opponent here. I think he's playing very, very well. I think, what am I trying to do? I actually don't know. Maybe like rook here and push my pawn? It's kind of an annoying position. Kind of an annoying position. My opponent's playing very well. Like, he's got a very nice setup here. Okay, he's attacking my queen. Let's choose a central square. Yep. Okay, at least I can play this move. I don't know if it's so special, but at least we get to push our pawn. Push it again. Push it again. He's playing well. Oh, man. Attacking my queen. Getting roasted here. Something that I haven't been able to do the whole game is actually put my rook here. This bishop has been covering it. But this move, whenever you're looking to trade rooks, is the ultimate move to trade rooks. You double your rooks and you put it on the last rank so that you attack his rook that's sitting there, and you also don't let him... Oh, let's take that center pawn. And you also don't let him avoid it. Dude, this guy is like... He's just all over me here. Holy smokes. I'm trying to stay in the center. This guy's trapping me all over the place. Oh, that's a check. This guy... Oh, man. That's a check on Buddy. And with 3.9 seconds, it looks like Team VBKN is going to punch home the victory, boys. It looks like Team VBKN is at it again. Yep. Score one for the home team. Score one for the home team, boys. The original Otis is he's just not quite enough. Not quite enough for us, boys. He almost was enough for us, but not quite. He did throw so hard. He did throw so hard. Look how well he played without his queen, by the way. As soon as he lost the queen, he brought his king to safety. And look at these pieces. They're controlling everything. He actually has a really good position, by the way. He takes my central pawn. He's attacking my rook every single move, my queen. And then he plays this move. This is his only bad move. And he just happens to get checkmated into. Very lucky. Very lucky. Oh, he's playing a gambit. This cheater. Well, you guys know what we're going to do. We're going to take. That's a pawn capture. Yes, I appreciate the offer, Roach, and the support. But if I accept your learning game, I'm going to have to accept everyone's learning game. So I'm going to keep it to pool players for the stream. But I like the term learning game, and I'm definitely going to use that for maybe Sub Sunday or something. I think we can make another stream at some point in the week where we play people with the habits rules in place and see how those games go. Okay, knight's out. Let's get the bishop. Okay, bishop there. You guys know we're gonna get the bishop out, put the pawn up, get this bishop out. Habits learning games, a new series. Yes. Yes, he just gave me a new series idea. Eyes for Alex, thanks for the prime sub, and Lowbred Lobster for 14 months. Okay. Got our bishops out, looking to get castled. Then the queen up, rook's over. You guys know the drill. Knight g3. Okay, he's hitting our bishop. Again, this looks like one of those do I need to give up my bishop things, and I think the answer is no. You're in the right spot, Mr. Daniel Moreno. Queen f3. Okay, well, I'm not seeing an initial threat, so I'm going to get castled. Rook e1. I think I'm on the same vibe. Rook e8, queen there, and rook d8 next. e4. e4. What are we going to do against e4? Anyone have any ideas? Well, all I'm seeing after e4 is that there's a brand spanking new center pawn for me to take, and there's nobody defending it, not a single one. Center pawns are definitely pawns I'm going to take. And guys, oof. Can anyone help me out with this move? God dang. God damn. Oh, he's just going to resign. Oh. Oh. Oh, it's just gross. It's just gross. Oh, man. Jeez. I didn't even have time to do it. Whew. Knight c2. Knight c2. Just nasty. E4. Let's go e5. d4. Okay, well, you guys know captures. Captures we take. Exactly. No. If you guys had that position as white, I would say don't resign, of course. He takes with the queen. Well, let's attack that queen with the knight. Let's attack that queen with the knight. We're gonna bring the knights out. We're gonna try to get the bishop out. Queen back. Well, I'm gonna bring the knight out. Bishop here, and you guys know that we've been always playing a6 when our knights get attacked. Takes here. We're gonna take this way. That's one of the only times we capture away from the center. Otherwise, always towards. Always towards. Okay, bishop can't really get developed out there, so maybe something simple and get castled. That's all we want to do. Okay, this bishop has to develop. Let's put the bishop on g4. Ooh, that's a fancy move. Knight e5, hitting our bishop. Well, our bishop has a couple options here. I think retreating back to the middle makes a lot of sense. Also playing bishop h5 makes some sense as well. I think in general, after you put the bishop here, if you get attacked, going back to h5 does make a lot of sense. So I'm gonna choose to go here. I'm gonna choose to go here. How do we want to finish development? Rook over, probably queen up, and rook over here. Bishop d2. Let's do that rook move. Can I explain why not b takes c6? Because we're gonna always do d takes c6. There's no other way to explain it. We always want to capture towards the center, but in this particular case, we're gonna capture this way. So you're gonna do this because that's just what you do. That's it. h3. You're just gonna remember that. h3. Got a habits bro over here. He doesn't know? No. He's just explained it 50 times. We do what we must. Okay, we're done our development after rook d8. Here we go. Here we go. I think we're done our development now. We've got all our pieces to the middle, and our opponent has made a little oopsies with rook d1, because we can actually take that. He wants to trap the bishop? Yep, I think he did want to maybe trap the bishop. Or he was just supporting his knight in the center. Makes a lot of sense as well. Okay, time for our h6, guys. Time for our h6. Beautiful, beautiful move. Queen has to move here. He just went there. I'm going to pick a central move here. Queen e6. It kind of watches over a bunch of things. No, but the reason Tom 2007, I was mostly joking, but the reason why I don't want to answer the question, why do we take this way, is because let's say I answer it and I say, oh, well, we take this way because we want to open up the queen and the bishop, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. I give an answer like that. Then, you know, you might hear that answer and think, okay, so the next time I have to capture something, maybe it's here, maybe it's here, I'm going to capture the way that opens up the queen and bishop more. But believe me, you do not want to capture the way that necessarily opens up the queen and bishop more. In general, you always want to capture towards the middle of the board, even if it closes your bishop more. Okay, so that's the rule you want to follow, capture towards the middle. This is an exception to that rule. So I could say, hey, in this one example, this is why you do it, but it's going to get confusing. You're gonna say, oh, that's why you do it there. Well, let me extrapolate the data and do that every time I have a capture. Maybe just free up my queen and bishop. So it's better not to give too many concrete examples. The point is, this is just an exception to a rule. We've learned the rule, and we've learned an exception. So that's all it is. That's all it is. It's just anytime that there's a capture on c6 or c3, we're generally taking with our d pawn. That's all. That's all. Our queen's attacked. We got to move it. There's actually not that many squares. 2 squares. This one looks, I mean, a little bit more central. So we'll choose that one for the moment. Please, not too many exceptions. I agree. At the lower levels, you don't want any exceptions. This is one of the only ones that we've introduced at this level. One of the other exceptions is when you're trading pieces, you want to take every trade, but that single only trade we want to think twice about and maybe not do all the time is trading bishop for knight for no reason. Like earlier in this game, going here, and then like that, we would never do that. Okay, knight there. Our queen's attacked again. Let's continue to attack his knight, bring our queen up. I am playing randos in the pool, yes. Do I do private lessons? I don't do a lot of private lessons right now because I just don't have the time. with all the streaming and YouTube and merch and behind the scenes stuff that goes on. I just definitely don't have the time. Used to do a lot of private coaching, but what I'm doing a lot of now is public coaching. That's what this is. That's what this is. Exactly. I gotta maintain my hair. This takes work. This takes work. Okay, that's a trade. Trades are nice and easy, guys. Trades are nice and easy. And lots of moves that we could do, but, you know, nice centralizing move, sure. Random pawn move, sure. Both would be very good. Okay. Attacking my queen, I do have to move my queen somewhere. Let's choose the... Again, I always try to find the most central square. Okay. He's trading pieces. He's attacking my queen. My queen has been attacked so many times this game, and my goal has always been basically find the most central square possible. Find the most central square. Okay, in the endgame, attack your opponent's pawns. Okay, attack your opponent's pawns and king to the middle. So that's what we're going to try to do. Attack opponent's pawns, king to the middle. Okay, taking opponent's pawns, and if we have a pass pawn, we're going to try to push it. That's it. Okay, king in the middle. We've taken our opponent's pawns. We're going to bring our king in the middle. Like our king over here, compared to our king here, is a world of difference. Okay, it's a trade. Have to take it. If he takes again, I mean, I'll take it back. Otherwise, I'll take this pawn. Okay, that's a trade. We're going to react to that over there. We're going to take this pawn. Okay, remember, I'm trying to take my opponent's pawns. That's the main thing. Hitting a lot of things with this rook move. Looking to cash in. Take some of my opponent's stuff. So king to the middle. Take opponent's pawns. If I got a pass pawn, push it. That's the idea. Oh, that's a free knight. Oh, take opponent's pawns. Hey, catch this guy. And where should my pieces be, guys, right? Light squares. Why am I going on light squares? Because he has a dark square bishop. So you see how many pre-moves I'm going to be able to do? Now, once I have a position where I'm winning like this, I have 5.7 seconds. Look at this, I have 3.7 seconds. I don't think that this is unattainable for any level, even a 1000 level. As if a guy in an endgame only has a bishop, it's on one color only. It can only touch that one color. Right? There's nothing it can do. So take your king, step number 1, put it on the opposite color. That's the first thing you do. Then you can never get checked. Okay, and then take your rook or your most valuable pieces, put them on the opposite color. Remember, even if he takes my pawn or takes my bishop, I'm still gonna be winning because I have a rook and a king. So all I did here was I put my king and rook on the opposite color and I pre-moved on the opposite color. You will win the game like that. That's just like a guarantee. As long as you're not down like 1 second to 2 minutes. If it's a time scramble, even if you're down on time, I think you will win the time scramble if you just put your pieces and your king in the opposite color of your opponent's bishop. Now, this only applies when your opponent only has a bishop, of course. But I think it's very common when your opponent has a bishop to still, leave your king on a dark square. Bad habit, you'll get checked, right? So get in the habit of see the opponent's bishop, notice what color it's on, put everything on the opposite color. Okay, e4. E4. And no matter what, I mean, unless d5, we're going to take, obviously, but our next move is pretty much knight f3. Guaranteed. Okay, and we're probably going to go knight c3 next. Probably going to go bishop c4 after that. We'll have to see what he does. Bishop there. Well, you guys know the drill. As soon as we see that, we go h3. Takes, we just take back. Nice and easy. Okay, queen out. Again, I don't really know what he's up to, but I'm going to stick with my plans, right? Bishop out, d3, castle. Excuse me, sir? It's not so often at the 900 ELO that I get to play this move. Now, is it? Queen takes f7. Wow. What a privilege, guys. What a privilege. This never happens. This never happens. King to d7 is kings in the middle of nowhere. Look at what happens to a king in the middle of nowhere. Guys, this is just a lesson. This is a lesson. This is a lesson. He needs to learn today not to put his king in the middle of the board and drop f7. Stephen A. Bayless. Stephen A. Smith and buddy Skip Bayless. He's going to have to learn. When people do this, this is all about teaching him something. Believe me. Anyone have some advice for Stephen? Number 1. Habits, knights should be getting out, right? His knights should be out. Okay. Number 2, he should not be taking there. He should be maintaining the pin and going bishop h5. Number 3, your queen should never be the first or second piece you develop. Crazy. Number 4, you can't be blundering f7 this early in the game. When you see the queen and bishop line up, that is the scholar's mate type of vibes. You have to cover that square. A move like e6 would be a good start. Or knight f6. Okay, and then from here, everything's downhill. It's just a massacre. It's a massacre. Okay? So, yes, I did that on purpose, right? Yes, I deviated from the habits, but I felt like our friend Steven here, he needed a very firm lesson. We're going to start with e4. You guys know it. e4, e5. Knight f3. Okay, knight there, and you guys know the knights come out first and the bishop follows. So let's keep that same energy. Bishop follows, d3, looking to just solidify the center. We're going to get castled. He castles as well. Well, let's get our pieces out. Bishop pins the knight to the queen. He's doing the same thing. Let's play h3. Now remember, if he takes, we're going to take back right away. Queen on f3. He goes knight there, and we've had this before. That's called a fork. It's hitting 2 things at once. We're going to put our queen back and guard c2. A mirror match. Yes, something like that. Our opponent did the exact same moves as us, but we decided to throw in h3, and he decided to take. Not something I would have done. So, what move am I going to play in this position? What move am I going to play in this position? And I think maybe the people who get this one right are the ones that have actually been watching every single Habits episode. Because if you're newer to the Habits, I don't think you would necessarily remember what we had studied together. If you said rook e1, give yourself some points, because rook e1 is the correct move if you're following the Habits. But if you're following the Habits and you've been here for every single one, you would know that the move, and the absolutely 100% correct answer, is knight to d5. Why do we play knight d5 instead of rook e1? because our ultimate goal is to double those pawns. Once we double those pawns, we're going to move our bishop and get our queen out and checkmate. That's the idea. That's the idea. Okay, our bishop's getting attacked. Hold the phones. Hold the phones. Save our bishop. Save our bishop. Okay, now he's attacking. What are we going to do, guys? We're going to take this knight, check, double the pawns. Where are we going to put our bishop? H6. We always put the bishop here. We're threatening the rook. We want to take that rook. We'll see what our opponent does. If our opponent moves the rook, what are we going to do? Once the rook goes there, what are we going to do? And you see how quickly we're able to get a completely winning game just from the opening. Just from that one idea of knight d5. I told you guys, in this habit series, this knight d5 with the pin, that's going to win you a lot of games. And you look here, it's game over. We already have checkmate. Now, if you haven't seen this before, then you haven't seen every habit series. This is important. This is going to get you easy wins in your games. I promise you that. This is going to get you easy wins in your games. That pin is very tough to handle. And if you think about this opening, how normal is it for black to play the exact same way he just did? Right? Very normal. He's getting his pieces out. In fact, he's playing the exact same way that we would if we were black. Right? The only thing is we would play h6. That's one thing. We would start with h6. But he goes here. I go h3. Part of the habits. Takes. Knight there. Queen back. Have to guard this. Now, if he doesn't stop knight d5, he's in trouble. You see that evaluation bar? Knight d5. Now, why is he in so much trouble? Because none of his pieces can defend this square. None of them. Which means I'm going to take, and he's going to have to take with the pawn. Not a good thing. After he does that, he's almost getting mated right away. Bishop here, and he's going to have to lose his rook. He's going to have to move his king and just lose that material. Okay? He goes here, double question mark. We already know. Force mate. There you go. Okay? So, this is one of the few things that we've actually studied as a group here on Twitch together during habits. And I wanted to show you guys that, believe me, when you have this like very normal looking structure, we have it as well, symmetrical. White does well because white gets to go here first. And even if black copies you, you can get that knight into d5. Okay? So this knight takes f6, g takes f6. If you ever have your opponent playing g takes f6, put your bishop here. And if you ever get your queen to check your opponent, it is going to lead to checkmate. Okay? Do we analyze our wins at 900 ELO? No. The only reason I'm showing this is to some people right here, we sort of broke the habits by playing knight d5 instead of rook e1. Rook e1 is also a habits move. But knight d5 is because if we have this pin, we do want to add pressure to it with knight d5 ASAP. And if you use this, and you double your opponent's pawns, you will checkmate them very easily. So just remember this idea of trying to play bishop, pinning a knight, and then knight d5 to add pressure. You're looking to take the knight with your knight, play bishop h6, and then get this queen somewhere on the g file to deliver checkmate. Okay? That's it. That's the idea. Okay, d4, we're going to play d5. Eric R 2007, thanks for the tier 1 sub. Gakkos, 34 months, coming up to 3 years from Gakkos. Thank you so much, Gakkos. Knight there. What are we going to do here, guys? I'm going to put my bishop here. Why? Because this has happened to me before. This has happened to me before. I'm going to try not to get KO'd by that this time. He thinks he's got me. I have to defend this pawn, and this is the only way. Okay. That's a fork. You didn't think that your boy was gonna hit you with a basic tactic. Get out of here. That's right. It's a basic tactic. It's your boy. We chillin'. Level 2. E3. Let's finish development here. Knight out. Let's get our bishop out. Get castled. Oh, h3. Okay, well let's just castle. He didn't even know it hit him. Okay, every time our bishop gets attacked, habit, where do we go? Always back to safety. Back to safety. It's actually a funny position. He can't castle here. I think he's probably trying to. That's why he's using so much time. Why not bishop b4? Because look, bishop b4. Okay, he's attacking our queen. Queen needs to move. Where do we go? Am I really going to choose this square just to stop him from castling? That would be too petty of me. Of course, queen b6 is a more natural move. Why not bishop b4? Well, because when there's no knights on c3 and f3, I'm not really going to go bishop here or bishop there. That's not a normal thing I would do. So what you should remember is that even though we just hit the guy with the tactic, we're super happy about that. And I mean this seriously. Don't go, crazy like after this. Don't go crazy and suddenly play like knight there instead of focusing on developing normally with your habits. E6, bishop there, and castle. I'm still going to play h6. I'm still going to go back to the normal habits after I uncork, a fork or something beautiful, a nice tactic. I'm not going to get carried away and get hot-headed and be like, oh, yeah, now I can go bishop b4, look for more tactics. No, I mean, we're going to stick with the basics, right? You're not going to get carried away, because if you do, that's probably where things go wrong again. You might miss something. So he's going to castle here. It's my turn. I'm going to bring the rook to the middle. We've seen this before. Getting hot-headed is a 900 ELO habit. Well, let's change that. Let's change that. Okay, he's bringing the rook over, and again, let's make sure we play that h6 move. Got my rooks to the center, got all my pieces out, and here we go. He's played c4. So, you guys know I'm going to take that trade. We do take trades. Okay, b takes c4, and we know what forks are. We know what forks are. c5 hits the queen and the bishop. We got to be careful of that, right? We got to watch out here. And you know what? Our queen on the side of the board, not really where it usually goes. I think queen all the way back to d8, putting it on d7, back where it should be for habits, is very reasonable here. So many pieces on the 6th rank? Yeah, that's true. That's true. Knowing about forks, I know it's a privilege. It's a privilege. Okay, bishop's getting attacked. I'm going to choose to retreat to a square that still defends the center. And something that's probably really annoying my opponent here is the fact that that square is covered by my bishop. He can't actually go to that square. Okay, he's pushing a pawn over here. Again, that pawn is takeable, but what do we say? Once we've got h6 in, all our pieces developed, what do? We usually go for a pawn push in the center. Am I going to go for it right away? No, I'm just going to first complete my development, queen d7, get that queen off the last rank. Might seem like, I've moved my queen a lot this game, and I have, but the bottom line is that is the habits move. Queen d7, we want our queen there. We always put our queen there. And what did I tell you guys? I knew this would annoy him. Poor guy. Bishop takes rook on b1. There's just no way he was going to see that. It's too far away. It's too far away. Okay, he takes back. He's threatening this pawn. He's threatening this pawn here. I think we should defend it. That would be nice. How can we do so in a nice way? Well, you know what? He's hanging his pawn here, and my queen wants to defend it. Bishop takes a5. Looks like the best of both worlds here. If he was 900, he would have seen it. Tough luck. Well, yeah, if that's the case, then he's really, really unlucky at 899 ELO. Okay, he's threatening my pawn here. Let's defend it. Playing like a 2000 already. Well, that's the thing. When two, when two 1000s play each other, when one of the 1000s starts playing bad moves, he starts playing like a 700, the other guy starts to look like a 1300. So the worse that your opponent plays, the better they make you look. That's just a fact. Okay, that is a capture. Okay, this pawn is actually hanging over here. Another pawn for me. Still going to try to use the center here. Okay, we've got our h6 move. This rook needs an open file, so something like rook d8 next is the type of move I'm going to be thinking of. So let's go do that. Just get the rook on an open file. He's attacking our knight. Whenever our knight gets attacked, again, I say don't overthink it. Just let's get back. Okay, that's a trade. I'm going to take a trade. Just get back, control center squares. And what move am I going to do here? Oh, that's right. I know basic tactics, and that is called... Oh, don't mind if I do. That is called? Anyone? Bishop c7? Pin or skewer? Wow, it's actually a 50-50 right now. Actually a 50-50. If the king was here and the queen was there, if they switched places, then it would be a skewer. So, I mean, we're taking a free queen. It's with check. We'll take a free rook. We got to move our knight. Let's go to the center. Oh, we got to move our knight again. Oh, we'll take that pawn. And let's bring pieces to the middle of the board. Are we going to be able to get the ladder technique? That's what we want. We want the ladder. Now remember that the rook always needs to be the closest thing to the king. So you want to go like this, and then like this, and then like this. That's the ladder. Okay, you don't want your queen to be closest to the king, because then the ladder won't always work. So it's probably the only thing you need to remember when you have a queen and a rook, is if you go like this, and this, he's going to be able to take your queen. So you want to make sure that your rook is the closest thing to the king, like compared to your queen. And as soon as that's the case, then you can just walk down the board. But this is good. We hit 950, guys. So yay, go VBKN. We hit a milestone there, 950. We started today's stream at around 900. We've only gained 50, but the gains are going to be a little bit slower, right? As we move up the rating ladder. But 950, we'll take it. It's a good little mini milestone. Hey guys, just a reminder that Building Habits is going to be a regular series on our YouTube channel. So make sure to get subscribed if you are not already. Drop a comment down below for the algorithm and let me know what you thought about the video. See you next time.